Tonight, is your backyard a deadly minefield? Better watch your step on the Fox Report with Shepard Smith. Then they got off the hook, but boy did we get soaked. Why did the Whitewater investigation end up costing taxpayers $50 million? We'll ask independent counsel Robert Ray on the O'Reilly Factor. It's the most powerful primetime lineup in sight, only on the Fox News Channel. Tonight, the UN Conference on Racism, why Bush's dance may not give him a standing ovation. Then, John Walsh shares some powerful new theories on the Chandra Levy mystery.
As Wall Street closes its doors, a look at how companies reward fired bosses before they leave their doors. This guy's getting nearly $13 million, and get this, he was dumped. And he's not alone. Our Molly Falconer on the pay even if you don't play. Molly.
Doing a bad job doesn't matter. You won't believe what CEOs bank when they get the bounce. Karen.
Molly, Main Street shops, but Wall Street drops. What gives? Neil.
Plus, do you remember this guy?
He's back with prices that are insane.
Well, Eddie himself is out of prison and back in business. And can Fox Sports get the $2.4 million per commercial that it wants for those Super Bowl ads? All that. Now the headlines. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Todd Connor. The majority of college athletes are using unregulated nutritional supplements, some containing banned substances. The NCAA says it surveyed more than 21,000 athletes. It says more than 58% of them said they had used a nutritional supplement other than a multivitamin within the past year. That's a slight increase over the last study done 4 years ago. An explosion erupts on a Southern California freeway after a crash involving 3 trucks and a car. The Highway Patrol says 2 people were killed. A truck used to paint stripes on the roadway apparently rolled onto the freeway in Camarillo after it slipped out of gear. The truck's propane tanks exploded, scorching all of the vehicles. Passengers had to scramble to find flights today after Midway Airlines filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Midway ended service at 5 airports and laid off half its workers. The carrier says it's been hurt by low fares, the high cost of jet fuel, and a drop in business travel. And American adventurer Steve Fawcett had to climb out of his balloon capsule today in sub-zero temperatures. He had to fix a leaky hose on the balloon's propane gas burner because it posed a fire hazard. At the time, he was 28,000 feet over the Pacific near the coast of Chile. Our next update's coming your way at the bottom of the hour. Your World with Neil Cavuto is coming your way next. All the day's business and financial news. You screw up, they pay up. Is this a great country or what? Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is Your World. And what in God's name is going on with this world when bosses who crap out get to cash out? Big time. Lucent Technologies, a poster child for how to run your company into the ground, proving the old adage that you can fail and still succeed handsomely. Our Molly Falconer on the eye-popping pay for no performance. Molly.
Lucent stock just evaporated, Neil. Labor advocates are outraged that even when they fail, CEOs take off with cash. And when workers are doing their job, they take off with a pink slip, told to pick up their unemployment check.
Hundreds of thousands of layoffs on Main Street haven't stopped CEOs from receiving multi-millions in severance packages, also known as the Golden Boot.
It's downright outrageous what CEOs are paying themselves when they succeed, but especially when they fail, and especially in the light of what's happening to American workers.
Lucent Technologies, the once mighty telecommunications equipment giant, continues the trend despite plummeting stock prices and about 75,000 jobs eliminated. Former CEO Richard McGinn was handed $12.5 million. Lucent's not alone. Former chief executive Jill Barrett left Mattel a winner, $40 million in hand.
It's how much do other CEOs make? The board is looking to ensure they don't want to alienate the CEO.
Office Depot's David Fuente, former chief executive, $8.6 million, while net income plummeted 81%. At Honeywell, former CEO Michael Bonsignore ousted but paid $14 million. Stocks hitting 52-week lows, announced 6,500 job cuts. And over at Disney, Michael Ovitz reportedly had $140 million in hand when he left after about 14 months of work. Corporate compensation experts say it's all about what other CEOs are paid.
They're part of a competitive compensation package that they received at the time, reviewed by a board of directors.
Little comfort here for the little guy, but some Lucent employees are suing the company over the value of their stock option. All in all, hiring freezes are on overall, but little indication pay packages and perk pullback is as well. Neil.
Amazing, Molly. Thank you very much. Molly Falconer, Fox Central. You know, Lucent is not the first company to pay up for a guy on his way out. It is just the latest. The sad truth is it is all too common, as Molly pointed out, golden handcuffs that are strangling the very companies that are meant to initially protect. With us now is Dean Faust, the Atlanta bureau chief over at Business Week magazine. Dean, good to have you.
Hi, nice to be here.
This seems to be out of control, is it?
It is out of control. The failure has never been so lucrative as it has in recent years, with McGinn getting 12, 13 million, Doug Ivester getting 25 million, Jill Barad getting 40 million. I wish I could figure out what I could do to screw up.
So it does raise an interesting question, though. What compels these guys to do a great job, then, when there's really no fear of punishment if you do a lousy one?
There is no fear. I think the board has got to start standing up to some of the CEOs. I mean, I know that the stated reason from the board is that it avoids a messy departure. It's time to cut the losses and go forward. And for companies like Lucent, these kind of numbers are true. They, in some sense, are a rounding error. But I think they failed to take into consideration the demoralizing impact that these kind of pay packages have on the workforce. I cover Coke, and I can tell you the effect that when Doug Ivester got 25 million last year, it was just the last straw for a lot of very talented mid-level executives who said, I'm gone.
Yeah, still, Dean, a lot of folks look at this and forget the fact that a lot of these executives are initially wooed with the understanding they're going to have secure outs. In other words, even if you botch it, we're going to protect you on the way out. Should we remove those clauses?
I think that, you know, maybe there's something to be said that the CEO has to be willing to know that he can take the kind of legitimate risk so that he isn't nursing the company along, that if he takes the legitimate risk that if it doesn't work out, that he'll be taken care of.
Well, that makes it a no-lose situation, though, for the CEO.
I think what's troubling is sometimes the small things in these packages. You know, Jill Barad, I mean, they're going to pay her mortgage. They're going to continue to give her a lease on a car. McGinn's going to get, $9,000, $10,000 a month for a private office. They have demoralizing effects, and the bottom line is they don't come without cost. I did some calculations after Jill Barad left Mattel. Mattel has to sell 600,000 Barbies each of the next several years just to pay her severance package.
All right. Dean, thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Dean Faust of Business Week magazine. Well, how does Wall Street feel about these excessive pay packages? Apparently, Karen Gibbs, it is business as usual, huh?
It certainly is, Neil. It's kind of surprising here, though, when you see these types of hits on the bottom line and investors kind of shrug it off. You are seeing, though, more and more defensive action when you hear the layoffs announced, as in AOL today and Citigroup. But surprisingly, I don't know what it's going to take to shake Wall Street out of its funk. You saw a much better than expected retail sales number today. In fact, retail sales paced by sporting goods purchases, health and personal care products, as well as clothing, and of course our favorite, Neil, going out to restaurants. It came in a much better reading than anticipated. The street was looking for a drop of 0.2%. Retail sales came in flat, and it would have been better had it not been for automobile sales and the record drop of gasoline sales. That's partially due to those cheaper prices there. But you did see some merger activity in the energy patch. Devon Energy buying Mitchell Energy and Development for $3.5 billion. So we'll have to see what's going forward. But right now, Wall Street just seems to be in a funk. It just can't shake. Neil?
All right, Karen. See you a little bit later in the broadcast. Karen Gibbs at the Charles Schwab offices in New York. Well, I want to ask you something. Do you remember this?
The opening of a brand new store. That's right, crazy.
Well, get ready.
It's Christmas in August, and Crazy Eddie's prices are insane.
Today's market closing report is brought to you by Charles Schwab. When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we created a smarter kind of investor.
Yes. What do you say to investors who are a little frightened of the current market?
Is this a good time to get out?
I've been in this business now for 40 years, And I've seen at least 12 other serious corrections as we're having right now. It's just part of investing. You've got to take the ups with the downs. The important thing is appropriate diversification within your portfolio. Yes.
What do I do right now?
If you have questions like this, call 1-800-3-SCHWAB today to sign up for our complimentary workshop navigating today's market.
Like this?
Hey, testing, check.
Hello? Now, I've got 300 people in there, and every time they go out there, this happens.
They're falling behind because they don't have their information. Here, it's the Sprint PCS Wireless Web for Business. You can keep up with corporate email, schedules, even move inventory over the phone, all in real time, and the calls are clear.
This is great. Oh, hey, wow. Would you like a job?
Sorry, I have a job.
The Sprint PCS Clear Wireless Workplace, because business can't wait.
The energy industry. What it takes to succeed has changed. Sure, it takes a level head and foresight. But should challenges arise, success will also require a company that's able to take care of business. Introducing Progress Energy. We're stable, but never standing still.
I was just diagnosed with diabetes. My doctor told me how I could get what I need delivered to my house.
I don't have to fill out those confusing forms. They take care of all the insurance paperwork.
I just make a phone call, and the professional people at Diabetic Supply of America take care of everything.
My mom doesn't have to stand in line at the pharmacy anymore. She likes that.
I'm amazed I get all my supplies at no cost. How can you beat that?
We carry brand name products. Ordering diabetic supplies couldn't be easier. Call us today to see if you qualify.
It's great. Stop losing money on Wall Street. Sell your portfolio now and get a new plasma TV from Crazy Eddie.
Well, Crazy Eddie, the once hot retailer that succumbed to bankruptcy and fraud, is back. This time it's on the internet. That is new. What is not is who was involved. Jerry Carroll, the pitchman, and Eddie Antart, the founder. And helping them get this thing going is this guy, the CEO, Dave Jones, who joins us out of Dallas. Gentlemen, welcome to all of you. Eddie, this is weird. I mean, you served time in prison. Yes. The company went bankrupt. Yes. You had, you were guilty of a 17-count indictment. Yes. Who the heck are you to be opening up your doors?
Well, Crazy Eddie has what I would say probably the most incredible brand name recognition, I would say, in the tri-state metropolitan area.
It's got a lot of bad karma, though.
It's got a bad karma, yes, from the financial community. But what we have found, because we've been up and running for the last year, is that from a consumer standpoint, from a consumer approval standpoint, that the response has been overwhelmingly positive. Crazy Eddie, we talk about brand name recognition. What all of these companies, like to say the .com companies in the last year, 2 years, have been out seeking is what brand name recognition is. They want to gain market share. We've already spent those hundreds of millions of dollars on market share, to gain market share.
So there was nothing that was preventing you when you were dealing with these problems with authorities and spending time in prison for the last fiasco that would prevent you from doing what you're doing now?
No.
I got to ask you, Jerry, I mean, you're a famous pitchman. Were you weary, even leery?
Do you mean wary? Could I be wary? Could I be weary? Could I be leery?
This is weird.
He's my friend. He asked me to do something. We talked about it all the time. Why not? He's my friend. It's a good company.
How do I know the goods I'm going to order through you are the goods I'm going to get from you?
Believe in us. Because I think we always did right by the consumer. We always did right by the consumer. There are millions of stories in and around the tri-state area of happy, Crazy Eddie customers. So we'll do right.
Well, the stories were obviously just the opposite.
You want to try it out? You want to order a TV?
Well, wait a minute. The charge was at the time that revenues were overstated, profits were skimmed, and that the company wasn't all it's had to be. So all I'm saying is repeating that. Should I worry that you're going to repeat that?
Well, you're talking about two things here. One, you're talking about over there regarding the financial community, and the other story is over here regarding the consumer. So I'm the guy who interacts with the consumer because I do the commercials.
Right.
So the consumer was generally happy before, and we're going to make the consumer just as happy now.
So you don't think there's, as I was raising with Eddie, any bad karma here?
I don't think I'd spend the kind of time I do with Eddie if I thought there were bad karma.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good karma here. There's a lot of good karma inside the company.
All right, let's talk about, and Dave, this is the point I want to pick up with you. Now, how will this be different? I know this isn't a brick-and-mortar establishment. You're essentially ordering goods over the internet, but I'm curious as to where I'm getting these goods from. Let's say electronic consumer products. Where am I getting them?
Neil, we've got a set of distributors across the whole United States that we buy goods from and deliver to our customers.
Where?
all over the country, as a matter of fact, and that's where our customer base is right now as well.
So how quickly do I get, let's say I'm ordering a TV or a stereo from you, how quickly do I get it?
It can vary, Neil. It can vary based upon how hot the item is you're looking for and how quickly we can get our hands on it. But most items you're looking for, we can get to you in 10 days, in 2 weeks, and we can save you money on those purchases. That's the most important
So
thing.
your guarantee is what, Eddie Antor? What's your guarantee here?
Our guarantee is to deliver you the product at the price that you want.
All right, this is coming in a dicey economic environment. Retailers in general have had a tough time. Internet guys have had an even tougher time. Who's crazy here?
Who's crazier? Well, I look at it this way. This is probably the greatest opportunity now to be involved in this business, especially for a virtual company, a virtual.com company, online company. We consider ourselves an online company. We use the internet as a tool to enhance our business. We have a call center where people call in because it's the same commercial. If you've seen the commercial just now, it's Jerry saying the same thing. You shop around. You get the best price you can find. Surf around. If you'd rather click the mouse than leave the house, you'll come to Crazy Eddie. His prices are insane.
Are you going to go public?
That would be a question that I'm not involved with. That will be for
Dave, are you going to go public?
Well, we never say never, Neil, but right now we're running a private company. We want to grow this company as fast as we can, and we want to grow it with the best corporate governance we can.
Because I don't want to keep dragging up. I don't want to keep dragging up these old bodies here. But even entertaining that, and the past history here of Eddie, which you freely owned up to, wouldn't an investor, wouldn't someone even looking to be a prospective customer look at this and say, I don't know?
Well, Neil, they'd have to sit and listen to our story, and I think it's a good story. We've set up an organization here that has new financial management, new financial controls, new operational controls. And Eddie's here because he's the best at what he does, and that's marketing. Jerry's here because he's the best at what he does. And there's other people here, myself included, who we think are the best at what we do. And that's some of the things that were some of the problems in the past.
So at no point, Dave, did you ever think, Eddie, love you dearly, you were a retail genius, a couple of decades ago, but you're just not going to cut it for us in this new motif?
Neil, I spent a lot of time with Eddie, and as you're suggesting, went back and forth. And at the end of the day, we decided if you're going to start a sales and marketing company, and if you're going to be in the home entertainment and the infotainment sector, it's better to have Eddie with you than to have Eddie against you. So we're happy to have him.
Jerry, let me ask you, your voice is probably one of the most famous ones on TV. When you brought this role back, reprised this role, I mean, what do you hope to do now versus what you did 20 years ago?
Probably do basically the same thing, maybe a little better. You get older, you get better at what you do. So
people ask you at parties, do the insane thing?
Yeah, but they don't have the money to pay for it, so I don't do it out of studio.
So you've been doing voiceovers since?
I do voiceovers. Yeah, I was a disc jockey on the radio. I'm a disc jockey in clubs in New York. I do Eddie. I do a couple of other accounts. I got a little business. Anything but windows in the winter. I don't like to do windows in the winter.
Good idea. But you have a stake in this action.
Yeah, I have two kinds of stakes in this. One is a financial stake because I'm very happy to be with this company, and two, it's really nice to come back to the forefront of advertising, the high-profile presence that you get when you do a Crazy Eddie commercial. I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah. And let me ask you this, stepping back from all of this, the environment, as we said, is pretty lousy these days. Obviously, you feel there's a good business plan here and a good environment for you to try this. But a lot of people come back and say, it's the worst of all times to attempt to launch a new business.
I just have to go back to our experience. You have to realize Crazy Eddie was in business for like 20 years. I ran a very successful business, probably the most successful retail operation in home entertainment in the United States. We have experienced 3 or 4 recessions, and we've always found in the recession, our greatest growth came in the recession. Why? Because what happens? People are not traveling. People are not going out. What do? They have to entertain themselves. And what are we in? Home entertainment. So people buy more DVDs, they buy a new TV.
But no Eddie, do you ever think that this is real chutzpah here? I mean, here you are, all the baggage you carry getting into this. And you're back, and doing the same thing you did.
You say back, and you say chutzpah, but I do have an agenda. I do have an agenda here.
Are you trying to reinvigorate yourself to sort of clean up the past?
I would like to, in a sense, redeem my family name. I went to prison for 7 years. I paid my debt to society, but I don't blame anybody for that. I blame myself. I take full accountability and full responsibility to what happened to me. And I hurt people, I hurt investors, and I hurt my family, I hurt my wife. I would like to be able now, at this opportunity, because I think it's a great opportunity, again, for us, to build the Crazy Eddie name back again to where it once was. And for that, what it will do for my family will be able, they will be able to hold their head up high. And that's my agenda.
All right. Eddie Antar, thank you very much. Jerry Carroll.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And Dave Jones in Dallas. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
All right, well, when we come back, what do the planets Saturn and your stocks have in common? Well, if a top astrologist is right, more than you can bear, if you can bear this quickly. Stick around. We're going out of this world.
Everyone needs more energy, whether you're a pro
Great backhand.
or just acting like one.
Nice shot. She's playing.
Start your day with Grape Nut cereal. It's energy for living.
For about $1 a bottle, you can buy clean, pure water. Or for about a nickel, you can fill one up yourself. Pure water filters. Pure water made easy.
Look at that. This market is just, I don't know that my retirement investments are right anymore.
I know, I was the same way. So I called a Fidelity retirement consultant.
Well, if you're feeling unsure, you may be spread too thin.
Well, I do have IRAs and 401ks everywhere.
Well, we can consolidate those with Rollover Express. If it's been a while, they could be misallocated. You can reinvest your retirement savings based on a plan we help you develop.
I just want to know if my retirement is on track.
Call. It's not hard.
To consolidate retirement savings with Rollover Express, call, click, or visit Fidelity.
Whether it's fair or not, every day people judge you by the words you use.
When you speak well, you command respect. You move ahead faster.
Verbal Advantage audio cassettes are your connection to success. They'll give you the vocabulary you need to maximize your potential.
And it's so easy, because with Verbal Advantage, all you do is listen.
Learn more. Call now, 1-800-606-9673.
Imagine having a vocabulary so powerful you'd always appear intelligent, knowledgeable, well-educated.
Imagine having a vocabulary that would put you in the top 5% of all educated adults.
Verbal Advantage audio cassettes will give you the words you need to maximize your potential.
And it's so easy, because with Verbal Advantage, all you do is listen.
Learn more. Call now, 1-800-606-9673. That's 1-800-606-9673. 1-800-606-9673. Call now.
The stock market's in a mess because Saturn is in opposition to Pluto. Sounds as good as many other wacky theories I've certainly heard. My next guest swears by the stars and uses astrology to chart Wall Street. He isn't nuts. Lately, he's been pretty good after this.
These chickens are cooking up a little surprise.
The plan is we go over the wire.
No chicken escapes from Tweedy's bar.
Now he's the only chance they've got.
The name's Rocky. Hi, how are you?
And what brings you to England?
All the beautiful English chicks, of course.
Chicken Run.
How much PC can $849 get you? More PC than we can tell you about in 30 seconds. The compact Presario 5000T. Let us build one for you. Call us direct at 1-800-336-1366 for all this, and we'll double your memory for free. A super-fast Intel Pentium 3 processor, CD-ROM, accelerated graphics, pro-quality audio system, monitor, one-touch internet access, lots of memory, plus 5 color choices, red, green, blue, purple, and orange, and that's just for starters. Hey, do I have time to mention the...
All right, well, I have a feeling this is one astrologist Nancy Reagan would call. Maybe she already has, because this astrologist also looks to stocks by looking to the stars. If that sounds like hocus pocus to you, do not laugh. He's made some pretty good calls. And now he's here to tell us about some powerful planetary alignments and what it means for your portfolio. He's Henry Weingarten. He's the managing director of the Astrologers Fund. Henry, good to have you.
Thank you very
much.
much.
How are you doing this year?
We're doing extremely well. We've been pretty right on in terms of hitting the economy and the stock market.
All right,
and
how's the fund doing?
Well, we're outperforming.
Outperforming, so you're not
the benchmark.
You're not losing as much.
No, we're not losing as much.
But you're still underwater.
Well, it depends. We're individual money management, so it really depends on the client. Some are doing very well.
So you're doing at least as well as the guys who do not use the stars.
I think we're doing a lot better.
Okay, so what do you see? What's happening now?
Okay, the main thing that happened is what happened on August 5th, which is when Saturn went opposite Pluto, and it continues until May 2002. And what this translates is, it's not over, it's just beginning, the economic problems. We forecast 1.2% GDP first quarter, and currently we think we have a negative GDP. and this is very important, that's not being factored in. It's a negative GDP.
A negative GDP in the current quarter.
Current quarter.
And the one that's going to be revised could also show.
Well, we think
our
our forecast was 0.45. The government said 0.7. I think they'll come to our numbers. But this one is a minus, and it's, well, we'll have
means we're as darn close to a recession as you could get.
Well, we won't get it because fourth quarter will be slightly positive, but then first quarter we're going negative again, and this is the important thing. So investors have to watch out, because if you look at the Cisco numbers on August 8th, that's the truth. It's going to be 0 to minus 5% for most companies.
So things stink conceivably through at least early next year.
Through next year. And,
right. Go ahead.
And the dollar, which we've been warning about, is going down, down, down.
Why is that a problem?
Why is that a problem? Short term, nothing. If we only go down another 3-4%, but if we go down 5 to 8%, that means next year they're going to have to raise interest rates to defend the dollar.
Yeah, but actually there are a lot of manufacturers who are saying don't defend it, let it slide.
Right. Short term, it's very good.
Yeah.
Because it's overvalued by as much as 20%. But it makes a big difference if your portfolio. Would you rather have, for example, just this week we bought Deutsche Telekom. I'd much rather have that than AT&T because I get another 5 to 10% on the euro.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought Nokia instead of Motorola. So there's a lot of European stocks that you can get more money on. Japan is another example.
What else? IBM you like?
Okay, in terms of the U.S., there are 3 stocks. IBM we like because that's going to be the best performing U.S. company. They're raising...
It already has been.
Yeah, but it's going to do well. We're hoping for...
What is well?
Well means that in 12 to 18 months will be 130.
All right.
But we're hoping
versus down around, what, 107 or so?
107. We hope to buy it again about 95 to 100.
All right. Now, IBM is one of those that has not felt the pain in the technology sphere as others have. So there's a separate camp, as you know, Henry, that don't look to the stars, but look at the chart like that and say, its number is up. You don't agree?
Well, we agree that we'd like to buy it between 95 and 100 again. We sold it at 118.
Mm-hmm.
But that company is doing everything right. It's cash rich. And which are the companies that are going to benefit? Companies like IBM, like Citibank, that 12 months from now are going to take advantage of the difficult economic environment.
Would that apply to stem cells as well?
No, stem cells has got great marketing.
Yeah.
You can't buy the marketing that stem cells has gotten. It's about 4 and change now. We think it's going to go and double before 12 months. So we like
this is a doubler.
We're doubling.
And not so much because of the president's decision, but because of the forces.
Because, biotechnology will do well in about 12 months.
Yeah. It's interesting. This whole sphere has gotten under a pall because now people think that Bush was not as supportive of it as was earlier thought to potentially be the case. You disagree with that?
I think he did exactly what anyone sensible would have expected he did at this point in time, economically and politically. So that's fine. I think they'll outperform.
You know, Henry, what I do know of you is you're a very good market.
Well, we do technicals and fundamentals, of course.
So this is not to criticize you. I think this astrology thing is just like a separate marketing gig.
Yeah, I know.
I think, you do the spreadsheet thing. You're a genius with that stuff. Then you say, throw Saturn and Pluto into that. Then voila, I've hit a home run.
How could we have called the things we called, like, for example, the Tokyo market crash, the first one, we called it out 2.5 years in advance to a day. We needed astrology for that.
What did you need astrology for? There are a lot of people say you and I right now have a gravitational pull thicker than the moon.
Right, but they also didn't call what we've called in terms of the markets or the August 8th
Give me some big picture things you see happening because of interstellar developments.
The biggest thing is that we're going nowhere in the markets.
For how long?
Until, well, if May is when it ends, the market anticipates that. So say the first quarter we're going no place. We'll be up and down 8% tops.
Wow. All right. Henry, fascinating stuff. Good seeing you again. Henry Weingarten is the managing director of the Astrologers Fund. What would you pay $2.4 million for a 30-second Super Bowl ad? What do the charts say about that? That's probably not great. All right. When we come back, why Fox is betting on it after this.
Hi, I'm John Scherer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. Well, I'm the one that makes computer learning quick and easy with these CD-ROM lessons from Video Professor. You know, I've always said that if I could just get a room full of people to sit down and try my product, they'd be so impressed. They'd never bother with expensive classes again or these big, thick, confusing manuals. You know, when I developed our first learning lesson 14 years ago, the goal was very simple. It was to make the lessons quick, easy, and most of all, simple for anyone to learn with. You put the CD in the CD drive and click on the Video Professor icon. The CD plays like a video on your computer screen. Just follow the on-screen instructions. If you need to see something again, rewind it. If you need to take a break, pause it. It's so simple. Here, look at all these options you can choose in any computer program. Now, you could try to find out what those commands do with this book, or you can just follow along with our CD as we show you step by step what they do. For instance, I'll get you started on computers with my Learning Windows CD. My Internet CD will show you how to surf the web and send and receive email. Use my Word CD to create great-looking documents. Or try my Quicken tutorial to put your finances in order. I'm so sure my product will work for you. I want you to try one of my lessons for free, because I know that once you do, you'll come back to us for all your computer learning needs. You just pay a small shipping and handling. You will positively learn to operate your computer using my foolproof learning method, or I'm going to even refund your shipping and handling. So if you want to learn to operate your computer once and for all, save yourself a lot of time and energy, try my product.
Choose from lessons on Windows, the Internet, Word, Excel, Quicken, and many others. To get your free computer learning CD, you must call now. Call 1-800-598-6135. That's 1-800-598-6135.
Tonight, stick it out, Gary. Get out of town, Condit. The congressman's hearing it from both sides and mulls it all over. Where to from here on The Big Story with John Gibson. Then, gunning for support from the NRA, the Virginia governor's race heats up on Special Report. It's the most powerful primetime lineup in sight, only on the Fox News Channel. Tonight, explosive situation underfoot, backyard bombs. What you don't know could hurt you. Then, Whitewater, a waste of your time and tax dollars. Robert Ray fills us in on what went wrong.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Todd Connor. Federal examiners say the government's controls to keep foot and mouth disease in check are not good enough. They say poor record keeping at ports and poor communication with inspectors are among the problems. The Agriculture Department plans to make some changes. Foot and mouth disease affects livestock, but not people. Crews are struggling to contain dozens of wildfires in 4 western states. More than 300,000 acres have burned in Oregon, Nevada, California, and Washington states. New fires erupted overnight in Oregon. In Nevada, firefighters claimed one victory, containing the Battle Mountain fire. It covered 82,000 acres and was the largest of dozens of fires burning across the state. The helicopter that crashed last week near the Grand Canyon apparently scraped a rock before hitting the ground. The Sheriff's Department says investigators found evidence the chopper hit some hillside boulders, but it's still not known what caused the crash. 5 New York tourists and the pilot were killed. The sole survivor was badly burned. Finally, faith wins out over love. The Vatican says a married Zambian archbishop is giving up his wife and returning to the church. He was married in a mass ceremony performed by the Reverend Sun Young Moon and his Unification Church. His bride claims she is pregnant. We'll be back with another update at the top of the hour. Up next, Your World with Neil Cavuto continues on Fox News Channel. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. You know that astrologers told me you'd be coming back about now. I'm Neil Cavuto. Well, buyers still out on Main Street, but not on Wall Street. The Dow slipping about 3¼ points on the day. The Nasdaq dropping a little bit more than 17. That despite news that U.S. Consumers are still supporting the economy. Retail sales coming in better than expected in the month of July. But the nation's largest retailer did raise a red flag today. Walmart saying that its Q3 profits will be down as costs start to move up. We go now to Karen Gibbs at Fox Central with all the news you can use after the bell. I intuitively knew, as the stars said, that she would be right now. Karen.
Hey, Coach, let's hope this news will kind of pick the markets up tomorrow. We are getting numbers out of Applied Materials. It's a bellwether that a lot of people are watching. You know, they make the equipment that make the chips, and with the chip sector falling a little bit, people were afraid that maybe Applied Materials wouldn't match the 3 cents the street was looking for. Well, it did match that 3 cents and is a little positive going forward, thinking that if the chip sector comes out of its slump, then there'll be more demand for its equipment going forward. Also, B Systems, it's a software maker, beating the street by a penny, earning 10 cents a share. B Systems, one of the software companies that had warned in this whole confessional period. And Razorfish, a digital communication solutions provider, also beat the street, losing less than expected, only a 4-cent per share loss. The street was looking for a 5-cent per share loss. And remember that racy catalog from Abercrombie & Fitch? Well, maybe sex does sell. Profits were up 18% in this most recent quarter, and they had warned last week that they may not meet the street's estimates. They beat it by a penny, earning 24 cents a share. Neil?
Okay, Karen, thank you very much. Karen Gibbs in, where is she? She's in the newsroom is where she is. Everyone knows the advertising environment is pretty ugly these days, but that is not stopping Fox Sports, a sister to this channel. The company asking advertisers to shell out a record $2.4 million for a 30-second spot for Super Bowl 36. Prices will likely come down, but can Fox get that asking price? Who better to ask than this guy? I'm talking about advertising legend Donnie Deutsch, who doesn't have to wear a tie anymore. He's the chairman and CEO of Deutsch, Inc. Donnie, good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
All right, you have doubts about whether they get that figure.
The key word was asking. They're going to ask, they ain't getting. I mean, it's really simple. Last year, CBS asked 2.3 million. Rumors said they were getting 2, a little bit under.
Yeah.
Basically, all the networks, all the cable stations are off. The upfronts, which is where advertisers go in and negotiate for the coming new season, the new year, were off 15, 20%. Super Bowl, no different. Also, add into the fact you don't have any of the .comers left. Certainly you had less last year than the year before, but there was still some in there. They're not getting anywhere near that 2.4.
Yeah, but, you know, every year people wear, will they get it, will they get it? And every year they go up, 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 up. Let's take a look at a chart of the last, I think, 5 years, guys, right? But anyway, it goes up. I mean, look, from 2001, 2 million, you know, on and on and on. Back to, as recently as 1987, it was almost half that.
Right, and once again, it has been, but we're seeing a different world. I mean, you report it every day. We're in a different world today. The advertising business is different. Last year...
Isn't the Super Bowl different?
You know what? In a weird way, you can give an argument that, you know, Super Bowl, you actually get the least bang for your buck. It's kind of like it's a beauty contest. People like to go on it when business is good. We'll send our sales force out. When people are really cutting back dollars, I think that's the first thing to go. So, you know, unless Fox does a spectacular job, they're not getting that 2.4.
All right, now, it doesn't matter whether Fox does a spectacular job, right? You could also have 2 teams that people aren't interested in on a national basis.
Which is a very good chance, but that's kind of a Russian roulette thing. You know, advertisers are buying that before it happens, so you never know whether it's going to be a blowout.
Next January. Maybe we could be out of this funk by then.
We could, but basically the deals are being cut now. The deals will be cut over the next few months. And I just think year after year, the next couple of years, some of the varnish on the Super Bowl is going to be off. Now, once again, there are those, the counter opinion says, you know, this is the one place maybe that stays special.
You know, because a lot of, we were just saying, the up-and-coming companies, you heard the internet startups some years back. I mean, this was their Russian roulette. They blew it all on this and hoped for pay dirt.
That's when all of a sudden everybody, you know, people, $50 million, $60 million here, go spend it as fast as you can. That was an easy way to get through it.
But you do get a lot of bang for the buck, right? The name recognition boosts enormously.
You get, you know, the way advertisers judge it is called a cost per thousand in terms of what, you know, from an actual, what you literally get from a media point of view, a lot of, you know, media strategists would argue against it. You get all the extra fanfare. You get people talking about your ads on news shows like this. So you can't always measure it dollar. It's more kind of that glory buy.
Would you urge your clients to just pass this?
Clients will look, just like everything else, clients are looking harder and harder. I've had clients on the Super Bowl every year leading up to now. It'll be an interesting year. I think for a car company doing well and whatnot, it's still a good place. Once again, a lot of the fringe players who are cutting their budgets, you look at that $2.5 million bucks, you know, maybe I can buy a ton of a bunch of spots on Fox Business News versus what I can get on the Super Bowl.
That's not a bad consolation prize.
You know, so that's kind of where I'm coming out.
Let me ask you, you're a big Democrat. No, it's you know, a lot of people love you in that party.
Correct.
Al Gore, has he come knocking at your door?
No, not yet, but, you know, I don't think we've heard the last from Gore, and I like the beard thing. It kind of says he's relaxed, he's tanned, and he's mad as hell when he's coming back.
I mean, it works.
The whole thing.
So you will do political ads. In fact, a lot of times you do them just promote,
you know, we'd love to get involved, you know, in the president. I think George W. is not going to be a tough target to take down. I mean, the world could be very different from now, but certainly his first half a year has been anything but blazing glory. So I think
he's got a lot of things done. He got that tax cut through, Patients' Bill of Rights. You're not getting
I'm not going to. So we'll come back for the half-hour program.
But in other words, you would never work for Republicans.
No.
Right?
No.
You hate Republicans.
I don't hate Republicans, but I'm a Democrat. You know, the world could change.
You have never said anything good about a Republican as long as I've known you. Why?
I like you. That was a hanging curveball.
Well, bottom line, you don't really think much of the Republican Party or anything it stands for.
I believe more in the Democrats, but, you know, it's not a black and white issue. There are a lot of terrific Republicans, but I choose to be
With the beard thing, you tell Al Gore, go for it. It's a good look.
I like the Paul Bunyan thing, yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Donnie Deutsch. Do not infer anything from his political swipes. All right. Well, think fast. What investment do you have that's running at a double-digit clip this year over last? I'm going to give you a hint. It is not a stock. It is not a bond. It is not a metal or a diamond, but chances are you do own it. You just don't appreciate it.
Market data provided by Bridge Information System.
He's my top guy, but he's been out of the office. He just got slow.
He's not up to speed because he doesn't have his information. Here, it's the Sprint PCS Wireless Web for Business. Let you keep up with corporate email and schedules in real time. Even move inventory over the phone, and the calls are clear. Thanks. Hey, we've got a meeting. Let's go. Now everyone can be up to speed.
The Sprint PCS Clear Wireless Workplace, because business can't wait.
Refinancing your mortgage may be easier than you think. Just log on to Ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIX. Today's low fixed rate with 0 points is only 6.875%. With interest rates lower, now may be a great time to get cash or use the equity in your home to consolidate bills. It's smart money from Ditech.com. Apply online or call us at 1-800-71-FIX.
So, what is this?
Sweet. Cool. Introducing the all-in-one Lexmark X83. It copies and scans in high definition, prints with 2400 DPI photo quality, and will change the way you look at printers forever.
Hey, this is good.
The all-in-one X83. For only $199. Lexmark. Passion for printing ideas.
Oh, I get it.
Wouldn't it be nice to think that lowering your cholesterol
Nothing to it.
was this easy? Well, think again. And start thinking about oatmeal crisp. As part of a low-fat diet, it may help lower your cholesterol. And its plump raisins and crispy flakes with a touch of brown sugar are a really delicious way to do it. So quit dreaming. Wake up to oatmeal crisp and help bring down cholesterol.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Well, checking our Fox stocks, everyone shopping for those retail stocks today. Barnes & Noble racking up more than 4 points. That is because the nation's #1 bookseller racked up enough sales in July to meet its target. Best Buy a clear buy, closing up nearly 3 points. The electronics giant saying that its profits should meet or beat estimates for next quarter and the year. It is also buying Canada's Future Shop for more than $377 million to expand its international presence. And shares of Home Depot hammering higher on a stronger than expected profit report. Now, despite the slowing economy, the home improvement retailer saw its earnings jump 10% in its second quarter. It credits sales of energy-saving products, paint, and appliances for that boom. Looking ahead, Home Depot says it expects to meet estimates next quarter as well. Well, you know, no wonder why people are sprucing up their homes. It's turning out to be a pretty good investment. Take a look at this. Numbers just out show that the average price of an existing home is nearly $150,000. That is 6% more than last quarter. It's a lot more than that in other parts of the country, and a heck of a lot higher than stocks or bonds or diamonds. Proof that your home is your castle in more ways than one. Now, how long is this going to go on? I thought I'd go right to the expert. Peter Bergdorf is his name. Peter is the president and CEO of ERA Realty. Peter, good to have you.
Nice to be here, Neil.
All right, how long will this go on?
Forever.
You hope.
Well, we've been in the longest real estate expansion strong market that we've ever been in. I think the danger is to think that it will last forever, and it won't. This business is cyclical. It always has been. It always will be. I think the real controversy is, what does the cycle look like?
Yeah.
And I contend that it's a longer, gentler cycle for lots of reasons.
But your history in this business is one that suggests sometimes it isn't so gentle. The changes can be dramatic. In the late 80s experience, home prices collapsed. Yeah. Do you see anything like that happening?
I think the current expansion is built on solid fundamentals. It's not a speculative market. It's the strong economy, the low unemployment numbers, the good interest rates, the demographic issues, the immigrant issues, all of that, and it's just a supply and demand thing.
That's a very important point there. Yeah. Builders do not appear to be throwing up a lot of houses and condos like they did years ago.
You look back at the mid-'80s, and it was a highly speculative market. People were buying houses not because they wanted a home, but because they could flip it and make a lot of money. Builders were putting up anything, anywhere, and selling them for a lot of money. So you had all the speculation, then the tax law changes, and the whole thing comes.
But they are still selling them for a lot of money. This is a recent chart of median home prices. This is rather surprising because depending on where you're going, these are some market numbers here. Obviously, San Francisco, that's a pricey area. That's $500,000, and that's for essentially a closet in San Francisco. Now switching to the other one. This is interesting, just showing the growth in what's happening here. Up almost 24% in Sacramento. Washington up about 18%, going all the way down. California occupies obviously a lot of this here. Northern California 15%, parts of the Northeast, Bergen Passaic in New Jersey up 17%. It can't keep going like that, can it?
No, and I don't think it can't and it shouldn't. But the big question is...
When will it change?
We're seeing some softening. I talked...
Where?
In the markets that are very, very hot. I talked today to someone in the northern New Jersey market, our ERA company there, our ERA company down in Washington, D.C.
When you say soft, what is the first signs of a soft market?
That you're not getting 12 multiple offers on a house the second day it's on the market.
In other words, homes will stay for sale for a little longer.
They're staying on for a couple of weeks, a couple of months. And the challenge is every market is different and different price ranges within a market are different. But we are seeing, especially in the upper ends of the market, wherever that is in whatever the market, we are seeing things staying on a little bit longer. We're seeing a little bit more inventory. I would still describe it as a good, strong market. It's not a frenzied market, which has driven these double-digit price increases.
But you know, could it be something else going on here? That people who might have looked at stocks or bonds or hard assets in the past are looking now to real estate, and that will provide the floor here from this falling out of bed. Well, and that your worst enemy could be these markets picking up.
Well, I think that one of the reasons why the real estate market has been staying so strong longer than the rest of the markets out there is that very fact, that people are switching their money out of the stock market and putting into real estate.
And the proof is in the pudding. They're putting up more money up front.
Well, yeah,
right?
We're seeing larger down payments, which is an indication that'll happen. At some point, that's got to slow down a little bit. But I think that factor and all the other factors that have built this market, and especially the demographics and the fact that we stopped making new land a while ago, is going to make...
You're kidding me.
Yeah, well, we'll let you know now the prices will really go up, right? I think we're going to see a much softer tailing off than we've seen
What about the
before.
people who say, hell, I'm selling my house so fast, I don't need the Peters out there. I can do it on my own.
And some can, and some luck out and do just great. And obviously in a very strong market, you see more for sale by owners than not. The challenge is, especially as it's coming down a little bit, there are so many factors involved, and pricing being key. I was talking to one of our brokers today, and she said that pricing is particularly sensitive right now. And the stuff that's priced right is selling very quickly and almost at asking price.
But some homeowners get greedy.
Well, you sell it, you try to get greedy and you put it up a little bit. It sits on the market for a month or two, and then everybody says, wait a minute, it's a hot market that's been on for a while. It must be a dog. I'm going somewhere else. I wouldn't take the risk, personally. That's
so
advice.
surprising coming from where you work. But Peter, thank you very much. Peter Berghoff is the president, CEO of ERA Franchise Systems. All right, well, forget the holidays. For Office Max, these are the days that count, when parents are thinking back to school and the company's hoping desperately just back to business.
Your eyes need nutrition as well as the rest of your body, so Centrum and Centrum Silver added lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Now your eyes, your toes, and everything in between are covered by Centrum and Centrum Silver. More complete from A to Zinc.
If you suffer from heartburn caused by acid reflux, get Gaviscon. Gaviscon tablets become smooth and creamy, forming a soothing protective barrier that helps keep acid down. Gaviscon, relief from acid reflux without a prescription.
It's off to work we go. Hi-ho, 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 gonna make your troubles go.
Want happy employees? Help secure their financial futures. At the Principal Financial Group, that's what we do. The Principal is the 401k leader. Financial solutions for you and growing businesses.
Who's our 401k leader?
The Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for.
Let me ask you something. When is the last time you thought long and hard about paper clips or pencils or rubber bands or spiral notebooks or pagers? Coming up, meet a guy who obsesses about these kind of things, worries about them, wants to change the fortune for them.
How would you like to lose that big belly and save big money? Then you need the Abdur system, designed to aerobically burn fat as it flattens your abs in just minutes a day, and it's yours for a fraction of the cost. Look, ab machines strengthen muscles but won't reduce your waist, and some exercises can make your muscles bigger. Only the Abdur's rotating torso trimmer targets your upper abs, lower abs, and obliques, all in one fat-burning circular motion. You'll flatten your stomach in weeks, not months. We guarantee it.
Before I started using the Abdur system, I was really unhappy the way I looked. Ever since I started using the Abdur system, I started seeing immediate results, and I feel so much happier and more confident in everything I do.
These machines cost up to $8,000. The Abdur does the work of all these machines. Millions have sold for 5 payments of only $29.95. But if you call now, we'll lower the price to 5 payments of only $19.95. That's a $50 savings. Plus, you get the Abdovich nutritional guide and motivational video free. We guarantee you'll lose at least 2 inches in just 10 days or your money back. So call now.
Painting a room is easy. All the work is in the edging, and the edges are everywhere. Meet EdgeMaster, the self-guided rolling edger. With EdgeMaster, you can paint every edge effortlessly because EdgeMaster's beveled edge self-guides as you paint. Just load the roller, flip the bevel in place, and EdgeMaster guides itself to paint door and window molding, light switches, thermostats, and walls and ceilings. Straight edge or round, EdgeMaster does it all. With the EdgeMaster, you'll get a precision edge every time. We guarantee you can paint any room in 1 hour or we'll buy it back. Use it once and you'll never use anything else again. Through this special offer, we'll send you the EdgeMaster, 2 EdgeMaster rollers, painting guide, and tray for only $19.99. Plus, call right now and we'll triple the number of rollers, a $20 value free. You'll get the entire EdgeMaster painting system and 6 rollers, a $40 value, all for just $19.99. Here's how to order.
To order EdgeMaster, call 1-800-408-9889. That's 1-800-408-9889. So call and order today.
What do you think is the first thing companies cut back on when times get tough? Advertising is certainly one, but paper clips are another. I kid you not. Paper clips and pens and pencils, pads, suddenly not so important when you aren't counting pennies, but very important to stores that sell them. Stores like OfficeMax, because they account for a lot of pennies. OfficeMax losing nearly $24 million worth of those pennies in the latest quarter, as Wall Street expected, but clearly not as this guy wanted. Joining us now is Michael Fuhrer. He is the chairman and the CEO of OfficeMax. Michael, good to have you back.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Obviously, you know, this was as Wall Street kind of expected. Actually, a little bit better than Wall Street expected.
Right.
But this is coming into your season now, right?
That's correct. The back-to-school selling season is really the kickoff of the second half of the year during which we generate the majority of our sales and our profits. Back to school is a very short window, but a unique opportunity to attract tens and hundreds of thousands of young customers.
All right, but they haven't been coming lately. They weren't coming last year. I mean, there's a concern that maybe they're just not going to come or certainly not buy as much. What say you?
Well, I think they're going to come. I think it is a matter of degree. What we've attacked is the reasons to make them come to OfficeMax. Certainly the boast and brag assertions and price as the primary motivator are important, but this year we're taking a totally different tack and taking a national and cable television tack to reach our customer and our target audience by providing an additional motivation. With our guaranteed low prices and vast selection of school supplies and office supplies, we've added a kicker this year with the Max to School sweepstakes. And believe it or not, we're giving away 15 four-year full scholarships up to $80,000 each.
Yeah, but you know, Michael, that's going to cost, right? I mean, if let's say a price war breaks out among you and the Staples and the Office Depots, I mean, you're just shooting yourself, right?
No, not to the contrary, Neil. What this will be is a more functional and more effective way to reach the customer. Because if a price war comes out, a price war, no one's going to remember who fired the first shot or the last one. But with what we're trying to do is create OfficeMax as a value-added destination, so when that customer is driving down the street, we want them to pass a couple of competitors and shop at OfficeMax because we're offering them to fulfill a dream. And what this all came about was watching what happened with lotteries around the country when thousands of people line up.
Let me ask you, though, I never understood this. When yours is like something that's not really just totally discretionary items. I mean, a lot of offices, even though those offices are downsized, they need paper clips, they need pencils. What are they doing? Just reusing the same stuff?
I think what we're in is a very pernicious change in the small business market, and that is small business people, just like everybody else, are certainly concerned about the economy.
So they're reusing paper clips?
They're not, they're reusing or not reusing. The real issue becomes they have postponed capital purchases on such things as furniture and business machines.
And that's where you're hurting the most.
Correct. But where we're gaining market share is in the supply categories and in the immediate needs of the customer. And hopefully the customer is going to be coming back more frequently and maybe spending a little bit less, but we're getting a lot more back. And that's why we've leveraged the programs, and this will be more economical.
Michael, thank you very much. Michael Fuhrer of OfficeMax. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Well, Johnny gets an F on his report card, and you take the kid out for ice cream. Is that goofy or what? Why, corporate America does it all the time, and no one bats an eyelash. Except Fox.
Have you looked at your long-distance bill lately? Wow. Are you kidding me? Ouch. That's gotta hurt. Saving money on long distance doesn't have to be such a long shot. Because now there's Sprint 500 anytime. It's the perfect way to keep your long distance bills under control. Just call 1-800-PIN-DROP and switch to Sprint today. For just $25 a month, you get 500 minutes of state-to-state long distance. You can use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Talk a lot or a little, day or night, weekends or weekdays. Sprint 500 anytime is long distance that can fit your game. If your long distance bill is over $25 a month, switch to Sprint 500 anytime. It can make saving money a slam dunk. To start lowering your bills, call 1-800-PIN-DROP today.
John Mapes is 33, mortgage, married, 2 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. John can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for right around $17 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll search the pick of insurers like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. John's wife, Carrie, can get a $400,000 policy for under $13 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or visit SelectQuote.com.
Tonight, lay off Israel or else. Why the conference on racism could be in real jeopardy on Hannity and Cole. Then,
I think we'll be lucky if we find it, and I think we'll probably find a body.
John Walsh with a grim prediction for Chandra on The Edge with Paula Zahn. It's the most powerful primetime lineup in sight, only on the Fox News Channel.
Hi there, I'm Edie Donahue. Tomorrow on Fox and Friends, it looks like Condit will campaign again. Is there any way he can pull off a victory? We'll take a look. 7 a.m. Eastern.
All right, well, the protest over the protester. My chat with Brian Becker of the International Action Center, getting more than a few of you protesting. Mr. Becker is upset with the World Bank's plan to shorten its next meeting and hold it over a weekend to keep demonstrators at bay. He says that's going too far. I argued that sometimes it is the protesters who go too far. WM Neff in Overland Park, Kansas writes, good job on the Becker interview. Way to give him hell. Michael Brenner emails via Yahoo, you were in over your head with this guy, Cavuto. Very unimpressive. Stick to business news. Linda Halleck in San Jose, California. Mr. Cavuto, your attitude was confrontational, accusatory, and totally rude. Did you ever go to journalism school? Ali P. in Dayton, Ohio. It cracks me up how these humanitarians are dressed to the hilt in their commando wear more than the actual security forces. Who should I fear again? Sergeant David Miller in Minerva, Ohio writes, Mr. Cavuto, I agree with you completely. Mr. Becker keeps whining about his First Amendment rights being violated. How about the rights of those killed or injured during the protest? Dave Brockway in Beaverton, Oregon. Neil, I think Brian has to be the dumbest guest you have ever had on your show. You didn't even have to say anything to him to make him sound like an idiot. He did it all by himself. Betty Melton in Olaf, Kansas writes, Sir, after watching this evening's interview, I've decided you are a very arrogant, nasty man. Oh, please, Betty. I most certainly am not. And Barbara Ostrowski in Aiken, South Carolina writes, hey, Neil, did the sun do something to your head while you were gone? It looks bigger somehow, or did you just have a bad hair day? Good to see you back. We'll talk about rewarding awful behavior. Richard McGinn is dumped at Lucid Technologies. The stock tumbling, the business crumbling, and wouldn't you know, Mr. McGinn profiting big time. As we pointed out, turns out as he was shown the door, he was shown a huge severance package totaling more than $12 million. 12 million snackers. Geez, imagine what he'd have gotten had he been great. And then there's Deborah Hopkins, Lucid's former chief financial officer. She got nearly $5 million in cash and stock before she was dumped for about a year's work, I might add, and on top of collecting $4.6 million as a signing bonus. Hey, all the more power to these guys if they can swing these kind of deals, but come on. Am I now supposed to feel sorry that they missed out on potentially tens of millions of dollars more in now worthless stock options? Please. It's galling, it's insulting, it's damn near criminal. So they were forced out, fine, but apparently with some really great consolation prizes. Now let me ask you something. To all of you who've ever experienced being laid off or pushed out, did you ever get sweetheart deals like that? I doubt it. A good swift kick in the butt was more likely. That's fine if you had it coming, but you probably didn't. These guys were running the show. They probably did have it coming. Where was their impetus to perform? These guys couldn't lose. I win, I get tens of millions of dollars. I lose, I get maybe just $10 million. You know, I could see the carrot, I just can't see the stick. But I do see who is sticking it to whom, and it ain't the guys who were just fired, my friends, but the guys who signed their walking papers. And we're paying for that. Well, finally, tomorrow night, our chips back and technology stocks back. Two big players will join us tomorrow, the heads of Applied Materials and BEA Systems, first on Fox, the only place to go for business news. That'll do it. Headlines are next.